Welcome everybody to NPIN's special live event with Lisa Brenner. Lisa has a new film that she's put out. In fact, it's her inaugural film that's going to be playing this Friday, starting this Friday at the theaters. We're so excited to have her here. Um, Lisa has been in the acting world and working within that field for quite a number of years. I think as a child, she also had a big role in the film that was out, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago now, The Patriot. Gosh, Lisa, when was that? That was a long
Yeah,
time ago.
25 years ago.
Oh
It
my
came out in
God.
2000. Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, that ages me. Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I feel like, oh my gosh, I remember that film, and it was a really great movie. And I guess you played Heath Ledger's love interest in that film. So that's really kind of cool. And look how what has happened here. We're so happy to have you here. Lisa joined the group maybe a couple of months ago. And she had no idea these groups even existed, guys. Can you imagine? We're so happy to have you. We have been working, myself and those in my group. We have a, a, a volunteer nursing group called NPIN, Nurses for NPEs. All the nurses are have the same issue. Like we all find out that our dad or both our parents were not our parents. So very similar, Lisa, to what happened to you. We all have similar things, yet original parts to our story. Lisa began this journey in around 2014, which is about the same time I found out about my NPE. Those of you all know that those first few months and maybe the first couple of years is the most shocking part of when you find out that your biological parent is not your parent. Welcome, Lisa. I'd like you to talk first about your own story before we get into the film. Tell us
Okay.
more about you.
Absolutely. So yeah, it was back in 2014. I guess 23andMe had just started, and I was driving in the car and listening to the radio, and they were saying track your relatives. And I always grew up like not thinking that there was anything wrong. Or just that I was seeking anything or searching for anything. I just thought it was cool that if you spit into a tube, it tracks your relatives. And I was just picturing what that could be like. So I convinced my husband, I'm like, let's just do this together and have some, it was fun, novelty. And he gets his results and they're everything he was told. And I got my results and it was not. um, Basically, so I was raised 100% Jewish to Jewish, Ashkenazi Jewish parents. And the results came back saying that I was only 49% Jewish. Not only that, it also said that I had a grandfather who was exactly my age living in Long Island, New York, where I was from. So I'm like, okay, I must have done this wrong because it's kind of true, but why in the world would it say I have this guy? Anyway, long story short, and a lot of this is actually in the movie, we found out that he's my half brother. So now we're like, what the heck? And it led me on this journey to find out what's going on. I found out my sister's only my half sister. My brother never did the test, although we know now that he's also an NPE, but he just refuses to do the test. So yeah, so that's basically my story. And it happened, I guess, 11 years ago. 11 years ago, yeah, 2014. So I have gone through the gamut of emotions from the shock to the betrayal to the sadness to the mourning to now it's just my story. And it doesn't feel as emotional as it did way back then. So yeah, so that's my story in a nutshell.
Yeah, you talked the emotional part. Yeah, it's those that are in the group, these everybody that's here, you all of you can put in the chat if you want to when you found out your story. But each what I have found in the work that I've been doing, it seems as if the third year mark, 3 years into this journey, is sort of a turning point, especially if you get into therapy. Did you end up going to counseling for any of this?
Well, thankfully, I already had a therapist that I saw regularly. I think
Yeah.
when I brought her this, it was a little out of her it was above.
Her wheelhouse.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
because all this stuff was really just starting around
yeah.
them with the creation of all these DNA tests. So, but thankfully I had her. Another thing that was very important to me is my mom, who is my best friend in the whole entire world. Like we
Mhm.
talk on the phone 2, 3 times a day. So it was awful between us, but at least we talked everything out all the
Right.
time. And I really tried for her to see it from my perspective. She tried to help me see it from her perspective. So thankfully I had that. But I didn't know about all these Facebook groups, or I didn't even know the term NPE. So I felt very, very alone. Like this, I'm the only person
Yeah. And
going
you know,
through this.
back in like when I found out in 2014, there was no term. I mean, there were none of these groups back then. It took me about myself for 4.5 years to find my family. Did you find your bio dad, your donor? How did
I
that work
did. I
out?
did. Well, so I had joined also ancestry.com just to make sure that 23andMe was legit, like that this was true, and it said it was true.
Yeah.
Um, so my bio dad's one of his sons from one of his many, many marriages, he joined Ancestry to see if he had any siblings because he knew that his father donated. And he knew that his father had multiple, multiple marriages. So
Mm.
he kind of found us. And unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever it is, my bio dad had passed away like about a month after I found out. So I never got to meet him. Um,
Oh
it,
my God, what did that feel like to you with
oh my
missing him by
God.
30 days?
It,
I can't even imagine.
it felt devastating.
Yeah.
It was devastating because
Oh
I
my
really
gosh.
felt like I just wanted to meet him. I just wanted to talk to him. A lot of that is also in the movie, that part. It was true. It was devastating,
Yeah.
um, that we
Yeah.
just missed each other.
In regard to your mom and how that went over, it's a cautionary thing within our group. We've had a lot of mothers and be in denial about it. So in many ways, you're I would say blessed that you were able to deal with this with your mom and she was alive. I had the same circumstance, a little bit different. My mother was in denial. But with your circumstances, it's something to be very grateful for, I believe. I've worked a lot with people that just I feel so bad for many of them out there where their mothers are narcissistic, and to see that where they just completely they're like they get angry like they come out after us like it's our fault that we were even born, right?
Yeah, well, by the way, that was her initial reaction
Oh,
when I
interesting.
when I brought it to her. She thought I was crazy. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about, DNA. What are you talking about? I have no idea. Then all of a sudden, it dawned on her, oh my goodness, I did this medical procedure, 40 years before. I never thought that this was ever going to come to light. So then she realized what had happened. And then she was so angry at me for
Oh my
finding
goodness.
out. So I
Like,
went through
oh,
that
so
too.
it's interesting then you guys did kind of go through that phase too then. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
a
Oh,
good
yeah.
and bad. It's so common with the NPE community that we constantly
Absolutely.
have that. It's like a hurdle we have to get through at some point to like say, finally, my mom or somebody gets it because most of the people don't get it. That's why you end up in community because
Yeah.
we're the ones that really understand it. I'm sure many of you guys here in the audience know what I'm talking about. It's because we need each other because we get it. We get what's kind of going on. You know,
Yeah.
it leads me to like in your story, you got to a point where in your journey, you've been going to counseling, you've been dealing with this, you kind of got to a point. So at what point were you like this is like you've known about, I don't know, a decade now, were you like, I think maybe this might make an interesting film. What kind of put you to that point?
Well, I had this crazy life-changing story within me.
Yeah.
And so I just felt, just as an artist, as a creator, I wanted to do something with it. I just kind of felt like if I went through all of this, I might as well do something with it. And maybe there are other people like me. You never know. I wanted to do this to connect with
Mm-hmm.
other people who've gone through this. And so what really happened, in all honesty, it was pandemic. All
Right.
work for everyone stopped. And I
That's
knew I
true.
had this within me, and I was going out of my mind. And my husband he convinced me, just do it. Just start. Just write it. And
Wow.
so that's how it happened. And once I started, I couldn't stop.
Mm. How
And
long
of
did it take you to write the write this all out?
It was probably over a year. It was probably about a year. And because it went through so many
Right, it went
rereads.
through layers and layers. Yeah. So
Yes.
then you had your husband as sort of helping you through this process, I take it, or did
Yeah.
you have other people that you relied on?
Yeah, I have one of my close friends is a prolific screenwriter. So she had initially read it, and she tried to help me, to explain to me like the structure of screenwriting. I mean, it's a whole thing unto itself. So she kind of helped me a little with the structure. He helped me hone it really,
Yeah.
because as I'm sure you all know, what this does is put ripples throughout the family. And my story went through there's so much to it that I feel like what you'll see is just the tip of the iceberg of
Hmm.
what the depth and what how many people it impacted. So at first when I started writing it, I'm talking about this, I'm talking about that, I'm talking about this, like it's just like all over the place. So he helped me to hone it really, really down to what I'm trying to say.
So
Um,
you're at the point now you've finished, I guess you call it a screenplay.
mhm.
And of course, you're an actress, and so this is something unique for you. You've never done, it sounds like you've never written one before. So now
Yeah.
you've got this written out. Who are you talking to at that point? Like what you're like looking at this like, I want to make this into a movie. Where do you go from there?
Well, I had been, oh my gosh, I've been through so much with this movie. I was talking to my friend who's a director. She wanted to direct it. She had investors and people I never met willing to give me a ton of money. I'm like, wow. And then one of the lead investor passed away of COVID,
Uh-oh.
like
Oh my God, that's
awful.
awful.
So then I had to pivot.
Yeah.
My husband is a filmmaker,
Mm.
so we figured out a way of getting partially financed through his company. But then I found another investor who I had worked with before on a previous movie, and she loved the script, and she connected to it, and so she put up the rest of the money. But we did it very low budget for what is a normal
Well,
movie.
spoiler alert to those out there. I had the opportunity to see this film already, and I cannot say enough about how I loved it.
Mm.
Lisa, you did a brilliant job with this film, and I hope that you have much, much success. Those of you out there, you guys just go see it, have watch parties, enjoy it, tell your friends about it, because this is a great opportunity for our community to explode, that people understand who we are. You know, there's a lot of bad publicity about this kind of stuff out there. Lisa's trying to bring a different perspective. Now,
Oh,
remember, this is her story, right? So she's telling it, even though it's loosely based on her story, it's fiction. So everybody knows that. So you're at the point now, you've got this film, you've got some investment. Um, you're now at the point of picking people for the film, like actors and actresses. You have one of my favorite actresses in this film, from that old sitcom I grew up with, Alice, Linda
mhm.
Lavin, playing your mom.
Yeah.
Oh my God, tell me, how did you get her and what was that like working with her?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's like the universe or whatever just brought her to me through Instagram, oddly enough.
Oh, did you just say IG Instagram? Oh my,
Yes. The Lord works in
oh my gosh, that's
this way.
wild.
It's so funny. So yeah, Instagram, as I'm writing the script, um, Instagram suggested I follow her, and I'm like, oh my God, she looks like she would be perfect to play my mom. So I started following her. And in following her, I found out who she is and that she, in her 80s, was traveling the world doing jazz performances, and her humor and just her joie de vivre, her love of life. And she every weekend she's in Costa Rica, now she's in Mexico. I'm like, oh my God, this woman's incredible. And her humor, like my mom in real life is a very dynamic person. She's some like incomparable. Like when you meet my mom, you know you met my mom. She leaves her mark. And so I wrote a character that is larger than life, very eccentric, very funny. And I knew Linda had that in her. So I didn't know her. And I wrote her a letter and I sent the script to her agent with the letter. And the next day, she said she loved the script. She loved my letter more because I told her it really was a love letter to my mom, this movie.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
we did a Zoom the next day, and that was it. Like,
That's incredible. Yeah, when I was watching this film, I actually enjoyed all the characters in it, especially the guy playing your husband. I thought he was so
oh,
cute, how he was so really supportive of you, because you're sitting there and you're like looking at like who is the people that is closest to you, and your husband got it. Uh, in this particular movie, this film, many of us have had the situation where, that are the closest person doesn't get it. But it seemed like his character got it. And that
oh
was
yeah,
really lovely to see that. And I think it's important to know, you guys out there, we can find that support person. This fictional character, her husband was her support person. But then you had your mom, but played by Linda Lavin, who she almost steals the show.
she does steal the show. Let's admit it. It's her
You
movie.
you really did a beautiful job with that character. How much did she, sort of say to you, let's do this, this, this? How did that work with you?
Yeah, well, I was very, very set on my script and my lines, but there were things that didn't ring true to her. So like she would, because she's such an artist, she's so wonderful, and that's why she's able to give the performances she does. So she would, really discuss every line with me. And why
Wow.
is it this? And why is this important to me? And she doesn't understand why this woman would say this at this point. So
Mhm.
she had a hand in everything. There was nothing that came out of her mouth that she did not fully approve and agree with. So
Mhm.
she was incredible that way, and also really respectful of it being my story. So
Well,
sometimes she just
yeah.
gave it to me.
Well, the some of the lines in the movie are exactly what you'd want to, like, you brought out parts of like what we deal with, like the identity crisis that we're going through, the loss of other family, like you're just like, what is going on here? And she of course plays that mom, like, what do you mean, you have all your family, you got me, what's up with this, but you actually you developed that, and you kind of showed that to those that come to see this at the theater, that they'll understand like what you were going through.
Oh
and
yeah.
and then your mom, and that character was, she sort of was, it was built beautifully, you built it on the whole idea around your character, what you were going through. I mean, you were so vulnerable in your role, in my opinion. Because you're, first of all, in the film, you have to take a story, the NPE story, and which is over, the rest of our lives. Let's say you found out when you were 40, or what have you, and then that's from moving forward, that's the rest of your life. But in a 2 hour and a half movie, you got to condense it all there. And
Yeah.
I mean, like, even like the DNA test, you guys, this really cute little part, I hope you don't mind me saying this, how like I had to wait 6 weeks or something, or I don't know, 8 weeks for my test results to come back, but yours in the movie come back the next day.
Yeah. We Yeah, it's one of those things where my husband's like, suspension of disbelief, just call it rapid DNA. I'm like, okay. And not one person has said, that's not true. It's like You just kind of have to, throw away
I,
any
I
sense
love that though,
of
because
fun.
it's a way to make the movie, sort of flow and go faster because you don't want stuff to linger on one thing for too long. And it's a comedy also, guys. It's really a funny story, so and
Yeah.
I love that you made it a comedy. I love also that it's a lot about love and where love, your connection and what's most important. And guys, I know, us girls that are out there, this is a lot of woman power in this movie. I mean, tell me a little bit about that, about yourself. That is your energy level. I love that about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's me as a person. That I'm a devout feminist. I've been, I'm the loud mouth. I'm always complaining, in my family. And so that was definitely going to be in it. And it is my real life, that who I am. I'm very close with my mom, very, very close with my two daughters in real life. And it's just, I love that intergenerational, the line of women. And yeah, we don't see a lot of that in movies, but it is definitely it makes you feel proud to be a woman, especially the end credits song as Alicia.
Yeah, you guys make sure to listen to the very end. She's got a very interesting song. It just and you wrote it too.
I
So
did.
I'm not gonna do a spoiler alert on that song, but that's pretty funny. Um,
Yeah.
so you guys are probably gonna have to see this movie and watch it again when it comes out because you may not catch everything. But that song is hysterical in the end, Lisa. And I'm not gonna tell anybody. I want some secrets for everybody, so I'm sure they'll catch it. Let's talk a little bit back now. Let's go back a little bit about character development from what happened to you. So you had an ethnicity change in the movie, right?
Mhm.
You brought that out. You find out you're only half Jewish, but then you meet, some of your new family and
Mhm.
there's cultural things with them. And then you've got this. I love the first, you have a half brother and then another brother you meet, but this first one, you guys connect right away. It's almost like you bring out the idea, and you correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just, I just thought about it though as I was watching it. You made the point of almost like your characters are similar, like, oh, he could be like my brother. We think alike. He's kind of like me. He's kind of his personality is like me. What did you mean to do that?
Yeah, I mean, in real life, me and this guy, the one who was originally my grandfather, who was exactly my age,
Yeah.
that's all true. And
Wow.
he went through the same shock as I did. So that really bonded us from day one. He's very different, but we instantly connected on our humor. He's
Yeah.
very funny. And, we dig at each other a lot, me and him. So we definitely have a very similar humor. So I definitely wanted to do that in the movie. I mean, we're very different people. We've lived different lives. We're different religions. We're of different cultures.
Yeah.
Yet we connect. And yet, because of our story, because of the shock, and because of this thing that you can't put it into words, that
Right.
it makes you question, which the movie also talks about, is kind of a nature versus nurture. Like, who are we? Is it the person who raised us? Is it our DNA? Is it a combination of both? Is it neither? It makes you question everything, which, by the way, these are all the thoughts I think about on a daily basis.
Of course. I mean, and I, what makes I'll just say this out loud in a way. Some people may think of this as an unrealistic. What do you say to them? Those that are really suffering. For me, I loved it. You found the love back in the family you had. And of course, you've now your friends, it sounds like, with your new have siblings, but at the end of the day, some people are still struggling. What would you say to them?
Well, know that this has been 11 years.
Hmm.
And so, even though it's a comedy and my character only finds out in 2 weeks, it has been a journey. It
Yeah.
has definitely been a journey of such pain. By the way, I did decide to make this a comedy for a reason. When I first started writing it, it was a drama. It
Oh,
was so
wow.
heavy.
Yeah.
It was so painful about my identity. I was always told I don't look Jewish. It was very heavy. And then all of a sudden, I realized things were so tough in the world. We were
Yeah.
going through a pandemic. Politically, we're so divided. There's so much anger, there's so much stress that I'm like, I don't want to contribute to this. I
Yeah.
I want to find a way of uplifting people.
Yeah.
When I watch stuff, I want to be uplifted. I want to be on a set. I want to laugh. I want to look at this story and just be able to find the insanity of it, the humor of it, to uplift. It was very, very important to me. But yeah, and I had tons of therapy, I so many conversations, but I also have to say, I am currently rejected by a
Wow.
bunch of siblings of my bio dad, of
Yeah.
his actual, I don't even know the difference of terms.
Yeah, yeah, I know what I'm so, thank you for sharing that because I think
Oh,
people need to understand you made a movie to help heal for your own
yes,
healing. And you still had a lot of rejection. I actually think that's pretty incredible what you did because you
yeah,
took your pain and you made something for all of us, really for our community. Because in reality, we all have had what I would probably say is like identity, like taking an eraser and like almost like we have almost like a blank slate. And it's
yes,
like we have to start all over again with where we're at. We're like,
yeah,
we're all having to suffer through this. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I know this is probably a different kind of interview than maybe you have usually because you're now with your community.
yeah.
In this talk here, and even though everybody's here not really saying anything, they feel your heart. They know
Hmm.
where you're at with this, and we're all here for you. We're going to support you with this film.
Thank
We're super, super excited for you. Um,
thank
Super proud of what you've done. I really am grateful to you because you share from your heart about all this rejection. And I just love the fact you turned it into a comedy, that you turned your story around. And it's about love, community, um, reconnection, and connection.
Mhm.
Um, I think the fact that the part that Linda Lavin plays, how she takes that and she makes that role into something bigger. And I hope that those of you out there will look at her role as like maybe the mother you never had. you
Mhm.
know, I mean, lots of you out there I know will be able to say to me, I definitely, Alicia, I did not. That's not my mom for sure. But I actually really appreciated that her role in that, Lisa, and you did such an incredible job. Um,
Thank you so much.
I want you to share anything else you want to say about the film, where it's going to be playing, where people can see it. Just share anything else that's in your heart about it.
Oh my gosh, there's so I can talk about this forever, especially with my community. But just it actually starts today. They're having
Oh,
preview
wow.
screenings.
Okay.
So a lot of the AMCs have added a screening today. So if you can get out, it's nationwide, but it's not in every city, unfortunately, right now. But if we try to pack the theaters as much as possible, they will add cities, they will add screenings. So that's really what we're trying to do. If you go to our website, onebighappyfamilymovie.com, it has the list of cities and showtimes, and we're trying to make it as easy as possible for everyone to find a
Yeah.
theater
Sabrina, are you able to put that in the chat for everybody? Onebighappyfamily.com.
movie. One Big Happy Family Movie
Oh,
dot.
one big happy family movie dot com.
Yes.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
I'm super, super happy about this film because it's the beginning we've had documentaries that I've supported through the work at NPEN. Those of you out there know me. I'm a retired nurse and I've been working for a long time now, for almost a decade, helping people find therapists. And we get a lot of, when people contact us, we help them find a therapist in their state, or whatever their insurance will cover for them. We also have mentors. So those of you out there that see this, if you know somebody that's going through this and struggling, have them
Yeah.
contact us at nursingfornpes.com. We can help them, contact them with either a licensed therapist or a mentor. And obviously we have our big resource group. There's multiple resource groups on Facebook, but ours is called This NPE Life. We're in the thousands and thousands now members, Lisa. It's absolutely bonkers. And
Amazing.
many regional groups are now meeting across the country. They get together and have lunch, dinner, whatever. They're meeting in Starbucks or what have you, coffee shops or wherever, and
Mhm.
they're telling each other their stories with each other. So those are the people that I think are going to really be interested in your film, because this is something that we can do as a community.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much, Lisa. We're gonna be going into a Q&A, but we'll keep that private off of the recording. And I want to thank everybody out there that watches this from YouTube. And we look forward to many more times of being able to talk to people with their artists. I'm major into art. I love art. So, I've been able to have a lot of really interesting conversations with people to really shed some light on on everything that we're kind of going through. So,
Yeah.
anyways, thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with
Yeah.
this, and keep me posted. Keep
Oh,
the community
absolutely.
posted. Our group is private, and let the community know.
Okay.
Okay, everybody
Absolutely.
stay on, but we're gonna end the recording. Thank you, everybody.